The NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. I'll talk about that on the other side. Colts Sports presents on the daily. On tap, presented by Colts Sports. And if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get any and all premier content that comes from this channel, as we have videos from this show that come out Monday through Friday. That is Monday through Friday. So be up to date and be the person in the know, whether you're in your house, your workplace, your church, or any other place where you congregate amongst people. Well, this is Monday. You've enjoyed a wonderful weekend as I have. And the weekend that I had was filled with the very first ever Super Wildcard Weekend. Yeah, we got a chance to watch 3 playoff games in Saturday slate and 3 playoff games in Sunday slate. What did I think about them? Well, I'm about to break it down. Well, the list style. This one is absolutely simple for me. I'm going to take each game, and that's going to be the bullet point for this list. And here are my impressions and takeaways, not necessarily turning over to football, but here are my takeaways from the first ever NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Number 1, we will start with the Colts at Bills. Now, that was a nip and tuck affair. It was actually a pretty good game. The Bills won in 27-24. The one thing that stuck out like a sore thumb to me was the Colts were on the road. They had the ball and the lead in the second quarter, 10-7, and they were driving to score again. And so here we were, first and goal inside the Bills 10. The Colts get inside, I should say, the Bills 5. They tried a pitch to the left with Jonathan Taylor, didn't go on third down. And I thought, here we are, 2-minute warning. Teams on the road, they're going to take the points, right? They're going to take the points, right? I mean, it's just that's the call to make. Take the points. No. Frank Reich, the head coach of the Colts, decides to go for it. They go for it. They don't make it. And the Bills take the ball from, I believe it was their own 3, and promptly march 97 yards down the field to score a touchdown right before halftime. And the score was 14-10. And that started a 17-point outburst, because the next time the Colts scored, the score was 24-10. So in my estimation, the game turned with that mistake. And yes, I called a mistake. That was a coaching mistake, because you got a guy in Frank Reich who, he's not a rookie in playoff games. I mean, this guy is the single biggest author of the greatest comeback ever in playoff history. And we just celebrated that anniversary 28 years ago or later. And then the following week, he beats Pittsburgh. So as a player, he knows what it looks like. As a coach, he knows what it looks like, because he was a quarterbacks coach / offensive coordinator for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. So he knows what it's like, and he's won a playoff game as a head coach. How did he decide to just simply, get greedy? Because that's exactly what happened. He got greedy. And you have a youthful, exuberant team in the Bills. They're playing at home. This is the first playoff game at home they've hosted in 25 years. There is some pressure there. Well, keep that pressure on them by scoring points. They don't. They give the Bills some life. They give some Bills some light. And then the next thing you know, the Bills are off and running. and the confidence is there. So yeah, wonderful game. But to me, that game turned 2 minutes to go in the first half when the Colts were up 10-7 and they went for it on fourth down and goal from the Bills 3 instead of kicking a field goal, 21-yarder. I mean, extra points are from deeper. So to me, that would have been 3 easy points. And the final score 27-24. I kind of think the Colts would have benefited from that 3 that they passed up, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, it would have been 27-27. We're going to sudden death. Then who knows what would have happened. But we won't know. That mistake cost them the game. And I have to say, that was the best game of the 6, in my opinion, in terms of play. We go to the next game, number 2. The game between the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks offensive line. How can I describe them? I'm a hard time to put into words. I think this would help. The offensive line just wasn't ready to go. I mean, it was the Seahawks running game either was stuck in neutral or Russell Wilson was running for his life. He just was. They just were not good at all. Not in this game. The Seahawks defense, they were okay. They weren't great, but they were good. They were good in stretches and they were bad in stretches. But you expect that when you play against elite competition that you're going to get your chance to shine. You're going to get your chance to be shined on. So to me, their defense was, it was okay. The stalwart people, and I do have to say people, in this game, that Rams defensive front. Oh my gosh. Wilson was on his bicycle all game long. I just love the pressure and I love the tone that Aaron Donald, and I'll say this as a side note, I hope that rib injury is something that he can recover from because the Rams are going to need him. He set the tone with 2 sacks early, and that defensive front just kept putting pressure and kept putting more pressure and kept putting more pressure on Wilson. It was beautiful to watch. The linebackers, they were not going to have a first down gained on them. They just took it upon themselves that they were going to clean up any third and shorts that the Seahawks were going to convert to first downs. And then the secondary. I mean, Jalen Ramsey just shut down DK Metcalf. You had the late touchdown that really didn't matter, and the one touchdown that was probably the lone defensive mistake to me that the Rams made in the whole game. But I expect that in the playoffs. I expect to have defenses in the playoffs have that one time where it's like, yeah, that was a bad assignment. That was a missed read. That was a blown assignment. That was a missed tackle. I expect a couple of those because you're playing the best against the best. The Rams just weren't having it. I mean, they had a pick 6 on a pick. They forced a fumble, which then they turned into a touchdown to seal the game. And kudos to Jared Goff, the quarterback for the Rams, coming off of injury with his thumb, and he gutted it out. And to me, Sean McVay, other than the divisional round 2 years back when the Rams played the Cowboys, this was the best offensive game he's called because it was surrounded by pounding the rock and asserting their will. And the Rams are best when the running game is on point and the play action is popping, because then you have the 3 things that you need most: the running game being on, Goff being on because, well, you don't have as much people rushing him and he has more time in the pocket to decipher where to go. And then the defensive front of the Rams could pin their ears back and just simply get after the quarterback. When those 3 elements are kicking, the Rams cannot be beaten. That's what happened in their 30-20 victory over the Seahawks. Big win on the road in CenturyLink. Now they go onward to the divisional round. Number 3, the Bucs and Washington. I'll start with Washington first. Taylor Heineke, who was replacing the I guess you could say the galvanizing spirit of Alex Smith, played as well as he could. Did he play astoundingly well? No. Did he play bad? No. But he did pretty well for himself. He accounted well for himself. Good rushing touchdown. And it was okay. I was surprised by the Bucks front because I saw something that I don't think I've recalled seeing all year from the Bucks, which was a pass rush. Now, Heineke was on his bicycle all game long, and they were determined to not have Antonio Gibson be any type of a force in the game. He just was not going to be a force at all. So they rendered him, I won't say moot, but they rendered him, I guess you could say, less potent than usual. And the Bucks, it was a pedestrian effort. 31-23 victory in Washington, in Landover, I'm sorry. And Brady, when can you ever say a quarterback throws over 350 yards in the playoffs and it's like a performance? And it's not because it's like Brady has been there and done that, because this was his 42nd playoff game, his 31st victory, both most all time. It wasn't those factors as much as it was more. It's like the Bucks just went. They went to Washington. They took care of business. They left. They didn't leave me with that impression of, wow, okay, this is a team to really be reckoned with. I did get that feeling. But Chase Young, you said you wanted Tom. You got Tom. Now you got a bench, or I should say you got a couch to sit on to watch Tom play again. But good effort, son. Good effort. Number 4, the game that I thought was going to be the weekend's best, the Titans hosting the Ravens. And the Titans go out to a 10-0 lead, and the Ravens come back and they win 20-13. Now, this, in terms of breaking it down, it was simple. Both teams wanted to run. Both teams love to assert their physicality. And they both teams want to have that "we're more man than you" credo to be, I guess you could say, inserted upon their opponent. They want to break your will. That is how both the Ravens and the Titans get down. The game plan was simple. The Ravens love to run. The Titans love to run. Which team was going to force the other to pass more than they want to? That was the game plan. And it looked early that it was going to be the Titans, because they were shutting down just about every single run attempt that Jackson tried to do. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Ravens, shut him down, had a spy and 2 other guys, one to seal the end and one to seal the cutback, and then a spy just to look at him. They had 3 guys on him early, and it just looked like it was going to be one of those long nights or days for Jackson. But somebody on that Ravens sideline, coach, must have gotten in Jackson's ear and said, just keep at it. Keep playing the way you've been playing this past few weeks. Just think about that game in Cleveland, how you were. I want you to be like that. Don't forget about this being a 10-0 deficit. Just play as if the score is 0-0. And after that 10-0 deficit that the Ravens spotted the Titans, the Ravens go on a 23 run, and that was it. That 48-yard touchdown run that Lamar Jackson had in the second quarter to tie the game at 10. Yeah, the game may have been tied, but for all intents and purposes, the game was over then, because the Ravens are energized by Jackson when he runs and rolls downhill. Because if you can stop the Ravens from rolling downhill, your chances of beating them improve exponentially. But if you have an issue stopping them running downhill, they will steamroll over you, and you can't stop them, because it becomes an avalanche effect. And that's what the Titans felt at Nissan Stadium yesterday. Number 5, the Bears Saints. I'll just break it down to you like this. Nagy is unimaginative. Trubisky is unimpressive. And the Saints play like they were unimpressed. They actually play like they were bored. 21-10. I'm sorry, 21-9, because the Bears didn't even go for the extra point after they scored a meaningless touchdown with time running out in the game. The Saints basically was like this to the Bears.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
So now we get to number 6, and the most surprising, the most jaw-dropping, the most eye-opening, and the most head-shaking game of all 6 without question. The Browns and the Steelers. Now, I can tell you the final score. I mean, 48-37. That was the final score. The Browns beating the Steelers, but that doesn't really tell you much. The 28 points in the first quarter that the Browns hung on the Steelers does. I mean, the game was the Browns as soon as Marcus Pouncey sailed that shotgun snap over Ben Roethlisberger's head. I mean, it was over. It was over from then. From then and there, it was over. The missed recovery from the fumble by James Conner. Browns, about 3 of them pounced on the ball for 6. And after that, and then the next possession, Roethlisberger throws a pick. And then about 2 plays later, quarterback Baker Mayfield throws touchdown pass to Jarvis Landry, making the score 14-0 with about 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. That was the game right there. The first time the Browns have been in the playoffs in 18 years, and they make it a wonderful event for Northeastern Ohio. I mean, this had written all over it a possible defeat, because they didn't have Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, because he had to do quarantine from COVID, and a few others, including their stud left tackle, Joe Bitonio. You had all the signs of, okay, well, we made it this far. Okay, this should be wonderful, because I mean, we've only done this once since the Browns have been in existence again in 1999, and this is the first time we've been here in the playoffs since 2002. Okay, yeah, we can hang our hats and be like, okay, yeah, job well done. See you in 2021. No, the Browns was like, we're going to go in there and we're going to kick the Steelers behinds. Oh, and speaking of Steelers behinds, Juju Smith-Schuster, the Browns is still the Browns, or the Browns is the Browns.
You for real?
Son, this is what you need to do. You can brag all you want, and you can boast all you want. Brag and boast all you want about your own talents. Don't try to denigrate others because you're putting bulletin board material for the opposing team. When you said that out of your mouth Thursday, I'm like, okay, he might pay for it. And I was hoping that it wasn't going to be like when you were dancing on opponents' logos at midfield and you got blasted by a Bengals defensive back. I was hoping the Browns weren't going to do that to you. But the Browns made it worse for you because, well, they didn't hit you into elimination. They just played you into it. So sorry. Well, I mean, those are the 6 impressions that I came up with in Super Bowl weekend. I'm sorry, Super Wildcard weekend. Yeah, easy for me to say. I will break down further later on this week the 4 matchups in the divisional round, the best brand of football, period. And tomorrow, be on the lookout for what I think about the national championship game between Ohio State and Alabama. But this has been The List. Now, if you want this wonderful shirt that you see beaming in front of you, the description box below has all the details as to getting it, where you can find it, and the shirt that you can find, and in the many ways and styles that you can get it. And what impressed you in Super Bowl, Super Wildcard weekend, the first ever that the NFL has put on in the playoffs? Which game or which player or what performance wowed you or disappointed you? I want to hear what you think. Like this video and share throughout all your social media. Comment below because I want to hear what you have to say, VIP. Your comments mean everything to me. Don't forget, hit that notification bell and subscribe to this channel for any and all content that comes from here. That's all the time I have. Thank you so much, VIP. I love you. And we got 2 more exciting weeks of playoff football remaining. Best time of the year. It's almost like Christmas in January. For all of us here at Cole Sports, I'm Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.